Hey ladies and gents, this is Linda, FaceChick777, and today I'm coming at you with a altered project for Discount Paper Crafts. Now this project is for somebody that I am in a swap with. I'm doing a couple of swaps right now, so neither person knows who this one is for. So there you go. That's all the information you get, right? Right. Okay, so I'm going to move my sign out of the way so we can get started. The first thing I'm going to show you is what I started with. I was walking around Joann's and they had a big display of all their decorative like little storage boxes on sale, and they were all different shapes and sizes, square, rectangle, whatever, different lengths. So these are those magnetic storage boxes, okay? That's what I started with, okay? And this is what I ended up with. Bring it in, and here it is. Let me move it back a little further. I know, right? I want to keep it, but I'm not. I'll give it away. As you can see, it does have a clock on it, because most of you that know me know that I love to try and incorporate clocks in my project, because, you know, I always have to know what time it is. I'm going to be honest with you. I cannot stand to be in a room where there's not even a clock anywhere. I don't want to have to whip out my phone. I need to know what time it is. And so, thus the clock thing. Okay, so there is a clock on it, and also I wanted this project to be functional. This can be used for storage for some goodies. I don't know if this person will do that, but she can store some stuff in it. So first thing I'm going to do is turn this around to the back so that you could see, you know, without all the pretties on the front, you can see what size and shape boxes I use. So I'm going to turn this around this way. So the bottom one is kind of, they're both rectangle, but the bottom one is kind of, you know, they're short rectangles. So the bottom box, the length measures about 8 inches. The top box is, of course, the same. And the bottom box, the height is 4.5 inches. And the top box is about 3.5 inches. Okay, and then, you know, they both are different depths, so that doesn't matter. So the paper line I don't think it matters. The paper lines I used was Prima Romance novel. I did use some Graphic 45 paper in there, and I also used Recollections from Michaels, the Union Square paper. You guys know how I love to mix and match my lines. So, you know, if they go together, the colors match, I'm all for it. I'm not one that has to stick with the same paper line and embellishments for a whole project. Okay, so the back I kept pretty plain because, you know, she's not really going to be looking at the back, right? So, but, you know, as you may see that I always do, is I distressed all my edges on the paper. I sewed all my paper with black thread, and then, of course, inked it all up just with the black chalk ink. Okay, I'm going to bring it in a little closer. As you can see here, yep, textured both boxes all the way around, all the seams, everything's all textured, just some texture paste. Okay, so did that. All right, and then let's start on the side. What I want to show you is I wanted to do the ribbon where, you know, you tie it all the way around the box and a cute bow on top. But I thought if I do that in one long ribbon, of course, this person, if they want to use the bottom box, they're going to have to always untie the ribbon. Okay, and I didn't want that. So what I did is I did 2 separate ribbons. Let me bring it up and show you on each box. 2 separate laces and trims on each box. Let me move this out of the way. See? So that way, and I lined them up so that way it had the appearance of being one big trim. Beautiful lace. I keep wanting to call it trim. No big deal. So, funny story, as you can see, my black lace does not match. Okay, so what I placed underneath was this, it was fabric I got from Walmart. It wasn't already done ribbon, it was just fabric, and I cut it up into strips. And then this lace, I believe I got from Leone, and this one I cannot remember where I got. So what I originally wanted was the whole box done in these 2 combinations right here. And I had done both boxes separately. So I had done the top box, set it aside. It was a few days later, went back to the bottom box. And I went to go wrap the ribbon and the lace. And I could not find this lace for the life of me. I don't know where it went. It wasn't in the pile of laces. I tore my room apart. Only thing I can think of is somehow it got into the trash or something. I have no clue because it's nowhere. So I'm like, okay, well, that kind of sort of defeats the purpose of making it look like one lace, but you know, whatever, it gives it a little bit dimension or something, right? So that's the two different laces. I know, right? Okay, so two different laces so that the both boxes could be opened without having to untie everything. Okay, and that is like that all the way around, you know, to the bottom of the box, all the way around to the sides of the box. Okay, other side, and onto the top. You can see it there. Okay, now let's get over to the top box. Let me move this down. As you can see, this is movable, and I had to make this piece movable so that when this lid is opened, this isn't in, because if I would have glued this down, this lid of this box wouldn't have been able to be used. And actually, let me set this back for a minute because I want to show you something. As you can see, I can pick up the two as a unit. They are both heavily, you know, glued together. And I used my glue that I always like to use, that I found, which is this glue. Awesome, Loctite, Stick and Seal Ultra. Those two boxes are stuck together. I use this for that, and then I use it for, you know, all the, any kind of metal pieces or anything like that. So, one moment, please. I'm going to grab out this other box. So I'm going to show you what I've done with these two boxes so you can see it a little better without all the stuff in front of it. So I've got the bottom box. There's a, because I have a couple more sizes. So here's the flap. I've got the bottom box like this. Okay, and then the top box, I wanted it to have a little bit of whimsy to it, but be able to access the clock very easily. So what I did is this top box, instead of opening like this, I flipped it onto its back side like this so that the flap was on the top, okay? So you've got your bottom flap down there and your top flap here, see, is on the top. And then so then when the box opens, it opens like this, okay? So that's how I did it. And then the top box, of course, will open like this. Okay, so that's how that part works. Okay, let me move this out of the way, just so you get an idea. Okay, now let me bring this back in and let's start looking at some pretties. Okay, so let's start easy with, you know, I showed you the lace and everything I have around the top. So let's start with the lace here at the top. All I did was took another black lace, different from the other two, and I tied it in a great big bow up here at the top. On this side, you can see I just kind of glued it and scrunched it up onto the side just a little bit on the lid, but nowhere else, because if I'd have glued it anywhere else onto the side or anything, you wouldn't be able to open the top of the box, okay? So I just kind of scrunched it on the lid. Now on the top of that lid, this way, I put a kitchen cabinet handle. See it? So that's what I did. I lost my train of thought really quick. Alrighty then, let's try that again. So kitchen cabinet handle, got the bow on the top, scrunched it a little bit over here just to give it a little bit of dimension. And this is funny, little story about pom-pom trim. Whenever I see pom-pom trim on other projects, it is stinking cute. But whenever I try to use it, it looks stupid. Looks stupid on my projects. I know it does. But when I had gotten some products from Kathy's store, Discount Paper Crafts, I decided I was going to use some of this pom-pom trim if it killed me. And I did. And you don't know how many times I almost pulled this back off. Because even now when I look at it, I still think it looks stupid. I hope I'm not wrong. If I'm wrong, somebody tell me, because this baby's coming off. Okay? So I used pom-pom trim from Discount Paper Crafts. And this is the May Arts little mini pom-pom trim. And then I used some of this twine from that fabric that's on, you know, on my box up here. When I pulled off the edges to fray it, it gives me these long twine pieces. So what I did is this lace is tied up in a bow. And then I used twine to, and this mini pom-pom trim to tie around the handle. Because I didn't really want to just glue it on. I wanted it just to kind of, I don't know why. I wanted it to tie on the handle and be more secure, so if the lid's flopping back and forth, the glue doesn't come undone or whatever. So I just kind of tied it onto the handle. Okay. Now, what was funny is I must have tied and retied this bow 50 million times, and this bow kept flopping forward. This one, flop, flop, flop. It'd flop right away. Flop. Did I tell you it would flop? Because it would flop right in the front of my cutesy stuff down here. I'm like, okay, I got to do something with that. I didn't really want to glue it. What can I do? I'm digging through the box of product from Kathy's store, and ta-da! Prima Romance novel wooden clips. I'm like, okay, well, it needs a little something up here. I need to bring a little bit of red up. It's just a little bit of plain with the black and white. So I promptly clipped the bow to the back position so now that it does not pop forward and it has a cute decorative element. I know, right? Love it. So there it is. Prima wooden clips. Not just for decoration. No, it is because it's decoration, right? Has function. Love it. Okay, so the front. Let's get on with it. I know I'm a little bit corny. It's been a long week. Sorry. So what I did, let's start kind of from just the tip top of the bow. I wanted to be able to, like I said, not have this X and O secured on the bottom. Okay, and let me bring my camera in just to see if it looks okay for you guys a little bit closer. There we go. I didn't want this glued or this lid would not be able to open, okay? That's too far. You can't see what I'm doing. There we go. This lid wouldn't be able to open, so I wanted this to dangle somehow so that it could be moved real easy to open the lid. So, when you decorate for newbies out there, the creative decisions that you do, a lot of things should be done in odd numbers or in a triangle line of vision, okay? So what I did is I have this cute clock charm, okay? And I have 3 clocks on this, okay? And I've got a triangle vision, so I have a clock here. So you want your eye to kind of have a triangle vision. So clock here, to this clock, down to this clock, and back up gives you a triangle, okay? So just a little something to think about, just kind of pleasing to the eye. It's eye aesthetics, that's all. So I hung this charm from the middle of the bow, and I had these cute little springs that I got at a garage sale. They had like these big box of springs, and I dug through it, and this little spring, I mean, look at it. That is cute. It's got little loops on it. So I hung these wooden XO letters from that spring, and I hung it on the back with just an eye hook. Okay, just a little eye hook from the hardware store. There you can see it. So these black letters, they're wooden letters I got from Michaels, and I just covered the front and back. And as you can see, yep, I distressed and sewed the paper. I nailed the O onto the X. It's still free moving a little bit, but it's hooked combined. And in that, I put a transparency that says, love knows not what time it is. I know, right? Time clock. Okay, so that just kind of hangs in the front because most of you know I love to put some XOs on my stuff. So there's my XO. So let me lift this up so we can see underneath, okay? So this ensemble, these are Kaisercraft wooden wings. These are from Kathy's store, okay? This, I've got a bunch of different flowers and stuff in here. As you can see, I got a cute little light bulb peeking out over here. These flowers are from Kathy's store. These kind of, they were all white. These flowers to start with were white. And so I spray painted them, or spray painted, okay, glittered them, whatever, with Lindy Stamp Gang, with a couple of colors there. Now I can't remember which colors I used. Which colors did I use, guys? The cream and the off-white. There you go. That's the colors I used. Anyway, and these are from Kathy's store, the Prima. They're the Innocence 2 collection. And there are 2 different kinds of flowers here, okay? And then down underneath that, I have got, this is a wooden envelope. These are also from Kathy's store. They're by Prima. They're wooden embellishments, so it's a little envelope. And on top of that envelope, I glued a Tim Holtz, oopsie, pardon me, look at, that glue holds, right? Dropped it and it's still together. I glued a Tim Holtz pen nib, okay, and then of course you can see the clock going. Onto the side of the clock, I used a Tim Holtz, one of those clock keys because I thought that would be so cute, a clock and a clock key, so it looks like you got to wind up the clock to get it to work, although the clock is run by battery, but I thought that was cute. So I put a clock key there, and then this is one of the Prima romance novels metal trinkets. I just kind of hung that there for some bling. On the bottom of this, I just stapled it to the top of the box because I thought, you know what, why not? I kind of glued it in underneath, but then I stapled it to the top of the box. Tim Holtz film strip ribbon kind of curled it up so that the wooden XO lay in the center of it. Now, this flower, I have one here on the top and one on the bottom. Let me show you what I started with. These flowers are in Kathy's store. Actually, I think they might be out by now, because when I went to look the other day, she was getting low, so they may be out for right now. But they are Prima flowers, and these are flowers. They come in different colors. As you can see, they were all different colors. Right here, the Roses of Spain, and I don't know how you say that word. Anyway, Prima flowers. And none of the colors worked for me. So I first started off doing Lindy's Stamp Gang with the black and shimmered them up, but that wasn't quite good enough. So then what I did is I have, let me grab it. One moment, please. Oh, great. There it is. I grabbed it. It's out of my stash. Some of this old paint. It is glitter glaze paint by Little Davis Designs. I don't even know if they're still in business. But I had gotten this stuff from Scrapbook Convention years ago, and it's a really thick paint, and as you can see, very glittery. So what I did is I sprayed down with the Midnight Raven Black the flowers. And then I took just some regular black acrylic paint, and I took red. I have this in red. I took this red, really thick glitter paint and mixed it in with the acrylic paint, and then I painted the flower black. Because the Lindy Stamp Gang made it black, but it wasn't black enough. It was really light, and you can still see the coloring through it. So what I've done, let me bring it into view so you can look at it. Can you see the texture on there? That is from that glitter paint. So what I did, like I said, spray painted with Lindy's, took acrylic paint, glitter glaze paint, and then I just sat and promptly painted the flowers. Now this one actually had a little bit of a red tint to it, so some of the red will peek through because I didn't mind that because this was red. It wasn't the right shade of red, so I just allowed it to poke through a little bit. I layered the paint a little bit thin. But I love how that came out with that texture on there. So that's what I did with these. So if you have any of the fabric flowers, those ones by Prima were fabric. Don't like the color, acrylic paint, paint them up, okay? So that's what I did on those. So let me lift this back down into position, okay? Now, as you can see by that, it's in position. Now, to open the top box, let me turn it to the side so you can see. This person just needs to do this, lift the handle, and she can access the inside of the box. And there you can see where she can change the battery real easy. So I don't know if she'll use it for storage. She could, but mostly it's just kind of access the battery here. And it is by magnetic. You'll hear it in a second. See? Magnetic. Doesn't fall down. Stays upright. It's great. Okay, so there's the top part of the box. Now, let's go on to the bottom. Look at when I lift it up, because I'm trying to lift it up like that. Let's go on to the bottom of the box. So the bottom of the box, all I did in the front is this particular box already had two big holes in it with some ribbon through it. Of course, I changed the ribbon out, but I still liked that effect. So I changed it to some gross grain ribbon, used the holes that were already there. You know, I repunched them once I covered them and made just a cute little bow at the top. In the center of that ribbon, I just hung a little charm, a little Tim Holtz key, and then just a little gem charm here. Okay, in threes. Remember I talked about things in threes? Odd numbers, threes, fives, you know, that's supposed to be the best when decorating. I left this, as you can see, it's kind of heavy, guys. Sorry, I keep putting it down. Because I wanted that love to show. I just thought that was pretty on that Union Square paper. Okay, let me try and grab it. So, onto this left side of the box. Let me move this up out of the way. I just came down and did some more, you know, flowers and stuff like that. There's a big gem right here. This flower is from Kathy's store. It's also by Prima, and it's called the Harmony flower, and it's kind of like a white, so you can bring it in to show you. It's a white crochet, like twirled flower, okay? This is another one of those Prima Innocence flowers. This is, one's kind of more like not as curly, and it's got like a pearl in the center, and then the another one of these Innocence ones are more curly, and it's just got like a regular center, not a pearl center. So that's a difference. They're very similar, but different. Okay, and you can see, I know it's hard to hold this, you guys. It is definitely meant to sit on a tabletop. I've got another light bulb in here. Down here, here's the one. See this flower behind here? It's got the pearl in it. That's the one I was talking about. And then this one's more curlier with just a little regular center in it, not a pearl. I don't know what that is, but so those are the two flowers, the Innocence collection from Kathy's store. On the top, this big 2, I was in a local craft store, and this big 2 is actually a brad. They had a bunch of different brads on sale, like 10 for $1, and I grabbed like 10 of these 2s, and so I just glued the 2 onto the front of the flower using that Loctite glue. Also in that store, they had these cutest, teeniest, tiniest little dice. You can see it next to my thumb. Teeny. And so I bought like 10 of those cute little black dice. So I have little dice glued on there. This is one of those crochet flowers from I Am Roses. And then we've got some more flowers. Back to this black one we discussed earlier. Another little red flower here. This is a Tim Holtz trinket pin. And this is another spring that I got from that sale I was talking about, like the spring I put up on that XO. So I just added a little spring in there. A little spring in my step, right? I know! Okay, so, one moment, please. Okay, sorry, phone's ringing. I'm almost done. So, and then the bottom of the box, let me lift it back this way, will open upright like this. See? So she can access the top of the box like this. And then there's the lace on the inside. I didn't run the lace across the bottom. I was gonna, but I thought, you know, it's just gonna kind of be storage anyway. And I had to run the lace in somehow, and I thought, I'm just gonna leave the bottom blank. So then I just kind of whitewashed the inside using gesso. Sorry, phone's ringing. Whitewash the inside of the box, the top and the bottom. You can see I've got it sort of textured around the edges, and then I just whitewash with gesso over the top because those plain boxes I showed you earlier already kind of had design on them. But this one was kind of nice. It already worked because it was kind of a tan design, and it kind of worked with the papers. But I didn't want it real bold, so that's why I just kind of whitewashed it. And then I did texturing all along the edges and on the lid, as you can see here. You know, just to give it something so when this person opens it, see? It's just kind of textured around there. But see how I can just hold this and the top lid does not fall off. I got that sucker glued down. All right, so let's put it all back together. Turn my XO around. A little bit of fiddling when she opens it or closes it, but what the heck, it's pretty, right? Okay, so there it is. This is my design team project for Discount Paper Crafts. Now, of course, I will have the link down below to the store. I will also have the link of my blog down below, because if you go to my blog, there will be a link to all the projects that are products that I used in this project. So you can quickly go right to that product if you see there's something you really like and you got to have it right now. Okay? So, you know what, guys? Thanks for sharing your time with me. Thanks for spending, looks like over 24 minutes with me, and I'll talk with you again soon. Bye.